All right, day six, I guess, whatever. Day 6 of my 40-day water fast. So, yeah, today was interesting. I had to go do some work today, and preparing for doing some drywall work, and so there was still a bunch of little prep work and cleaning up and vacuuming and cleaning and you know removing a bunch of nails and putting in shims and just cleaning up, ripping out some things. So it wasn't too bad, actually, all things considered. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I you know I definitely had lower energy overall, muscles, in my muscles and all that. But it I was able to just pace myself, and mainly like I just avoided any much more uh, vigorous type of movements, like swinging a hammer a bunch of times or stuff like that. I just avoided doing those kind of movements, and mostly just stuck with using crowbars and doing smaller movements, and just not carrying anything too heavy. So as long as I stuck with those kind of things throughout the day, and in that case it ended up being okay. Like, I didn't feel too exerted. There was one point where I started whacking a hammer a few times, and then I started feeling like, oh man, I'm feeling the exertion amping up in my arm and starting to be in my body, and I was just like, okay, just don't do that, stop that. So that was kind of my indicator. As soon as I'm feeling overexerted, feeling at all, I just stop what I'm doing and just go back to doing something calmer. And then the other thing that helped was kind of midday, went and took a nap in my car for like 20, 30, maybe like a half an hour or so. Took a midday nap in lieu of a lunch break. I just took a nap break because I'm not eating lunch, of course. So that seemed to help to kind of reset, recharge, and allow me to finish the rest of my day. So yeah, so not too bad, certainly helped that the job was like, it's not like a super intense, high pressure job right now. So that certainly helps. I mean, if it was some like high intensity, high pressure job, then it might be a little more challenging, because I got to go to it like the next 2 days. I'll be still working on this job, so I just got to pace myself. Just definitely going to aim to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight. And yeah, so overall today was, I'd say it was fairly successful. Not as bad as I thought, and not as bad not as like strenuous as I was worried about. Not worried is not the right word, but I'm just like had a little concern that, it's just I'm not gonna be able to keep up today, but I was able to keep up just fine. So, and yeah, so waking up, a little, again, kind of motivated by just needing to go to the bathroom to get out of bed, kind of thing. Energy wise, starting the day, feeling okay. Not, like I said, not exploding with energy. There's just kind of like a low level, just lower power mode kind of mode that's always present there in my body and my system right now. So just honoring that and respecting that. But overall, head feels pretty clear. Occasionally feel a little bit something little like, but it feels, I don't know, it feels like just things are getting processed and stuff like that, so occasionally have like a little feeling of something's passing in my head kind of thing. And then after a little while, it then just seems to like feels pretty clear again. So stuff like that. And yeah, like the feeling a little bit of the anxious feeling with the elevated heart rate. That was pretty under control today. I didn't really have to do much like intentional slow low breathing in order to offset it. It mostly, for the most part, just kind of kept under control all on its own. So that's also a good sign. And then yeah, and but overall thinking is fairly clear, and yeah. And then let's see, so for my psoriasis patches, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Like in the camera, it looks a certain shade. I mean, it definitely seems like it's definitely gradually moving towards a more pinkish tone, as opposed to it was definitely more reddish tones before, when I started this. On the edges are not quite as sharp edges, like really rough, irritated edges as it was before. So yeah, it's already seems like it's. I scratched myself a little earlier today. Yeah, so I don't know. It visibly, I'd say compared to day one for sure. Prior to starting the fast, I would say it's already a noticeable improvement. Again, I've been applying a little bit of lotion just to, moisturize it a little bit. So the flakiness has gone down a lot. I mean, it's still a little flaky, but it definitely, I could see it's on the path to healing for sure. It just looks, to my eyes, it definitely looks noticeably, the redness and swelling of it are noticeably improved compared to before I started this fast. Yeah, so let's just do the numbers. So numbers wise, let's see. So let me say here, numbers wise. Again, had another pretty big drop today. Yesterday it was 208, and today I was at 206.2. So almost, so 1.8 pound drop from yesterday. And my pH was still the same, 5.75, to be expected. Ketones still holding strong at a very respectable 4, which is deep into the optimal zone. And then yeah, I didn't go to bed that early last night, but I went to bed at least earlier than the previous night. Went to bed at like 12:45 a.m., quarter to 1 in the morning. So, it's not what I'm trying to do right now. Ideally, like later on, I would like to be able to sleep much less once I'm off the fast. I mean, that's one of the outcomes that I would prefer to have happen. which I had that happen at one point when I did a previous 40-day water fast a few years, back in 2019, 2020, to heal my broken bones, that I temporarily basically only needed like 3 hours of sleep a night for a good period of time. But I have to basically stick to a super clean diet and basically just don't cheat or go off track at all, so it's a very requires no deviation. That's the cost of keeping that low sleep ability. So I'm gonna attempt to recreate that and get back to that, where I just go to sleep when I'm feeling tired, and typically for me it was like go to sleep at 3 a.m. and then I just wake up automatically at 6 a.m. Yeah, no, well, that's not a kind of thing. It's like, who the hell does that? But I have a theory with I have an Aura ring. I've got my Aura ring right here, and so I have this theory that the main part of your sleep that actually causes you to feel rested and totally restored is your deep sleep cycle and your REM sleep cycle. And on average, when I checked all of my history, that most of the nights, especially when I had a full night's sleep, I typically was around, when you add those two alone, they're typically around the 3 or so hour long mark. And the rest is just light sleep. You're just cycling in and out, and then it's all like light sleep. So most of the time you're in bed, most of that time is just light sleep, tossing and turning. And there's only about 3 to 4 hours max typically of the actual restorative sleep so I'm just like, well, if you can dial in your body so that when you go to sleep, you don't spend any time in light sleep, then why waste that time? Just have the deep sleep and the REM sleep. If you can dial it in, if you can dial in your body to be able to do that, then then it makes perfect sense. So why can't you just be able to sleep only 3-4 hours tops a night and feel completely rested, fully restored, and feeling better than the average person who sleeps 7+ hours a night? So that's my intention. But yeah, so today, went to bed, like I said, last night went to bed 12:45, woke up after 9, like 9:21 or something like that. And again, definitely, it's to be expected that doing this requires, more bedtime, more sleep time, more rest time. Just not, like I said, again, I don't recommend what I'm doing right now with still working a little bit. If you're going to do any work, if you have like a desk job and you're just kind of sitting and working on a computer or something, then that's totally fine. But I'd say definitely plan on, if you're going to still be doing some kind of work throughout while you're doing this longer fast, incorporate a midday nap to just refresh and, just give yourself a little bit of a break to just fully nap, or, good 20-30 minute nap in the middle of the day. Definitely I found makes a big difference. So yeah, so that's so 6 days down, 34 to go. Oh my God, that sounds like a lot. 34 to go, over a month still to go. Yeah, anyways, that's kind of funny. So what else? Yeah, so yeah, I'd say that's that. I think that's mostly it for now. Um, yeah, I mean, one thing. Well, I'd say one other thing that I just noticing and just being reminded today as I'm just driving around, driving from work, and the guy I've been working with, he's just like, I'm gonna go take my lunch break, go get some food. You want anything? And I'm just like, no. And so, and then I'm just driving by places, and I'm just like, I'm seeing all these restaurants and stores and delis and baker, and little and supermarkets and stuff, and and it's just dawning on, and it's, I think I've had this realization before, but it's becoming, I'm being reminded again, being in this experience once again, of this odd experience of moving through the world, but not partaking in a large component of day-to-day life, which is collecting food, preparing food, eating food, paying for food. And so temporarily, being separate from that in and of itself, I find to be a very I don't know, it feels like almost like a bit of a spiritual kind of experience. It's like being in the world but not of it kind of thing. And also the realization of just like, all this money that I would have spent on food today didn't get spent. All the money I would have spent on food yesterday didn't get spent the day before that. So, now I'm approaching a week now, where I haven't spent a single penny on food is both it's both like feels, there's like a good feeling and it's like an odd feeling at the same time. Because it's such an part of it's like it's such an extreme change going from, oh, you spend a lot of money on food, to just like, okay, just spending a moderate amount of food, and usually like it just stops around the moderate to low level that you're spending food, but then to go to zero for an extended period of time is very, it's a weird, freeing, spiritual kind of experience. So, and it definitely, it kind of goes hand in hand with taking a little bit of the pressure off of doing this, is because, one of your large expenses you have each month is spending all this money on food and eating and going out to eat and things like that. And so, so basically I'll not spend a penny on any of it for over a month. So, then it takes pressure off of having to earn money. I can kind of be a little bit more leisurely, which I need to be more leisurely right now anyways, but allows me to be a little more leisurely anyway. It allows me to be more leisurely with doing work and making some money, making extra money right now, because I know I'm probably saving at least $600. Yeah. Well, more, because it's like a month plus 10 days. So who knows, maybe $800, 800, if it's there was going out fairly often, could easily be $1,000, that I didn't spend. Maybe not quite 1,000, but anyways, I'd say 800 is definitely $800 for 40 days of, just eating out, buying food, going grocery shopping. Everything's gotten more expensive these days anyways. So that's essentially $800 up to $1,000 that I'm not spending now. So that actually feels really good about that. And so anyways, that's another one of the things you can look forward to if you decide to do a long water fast. All the money saving you will have on food. during the fast. Of course, those savings can't last too long. They can only last the length of the fast. And then, of course, there's all the refeeding and, and eating more selectively and healthy options and, probably some more premium items and stuff afterwards. So in the long run, it probably will all just even out anyways. Think about it. If you're eating kind of crappy, which is like typically might not, it's like some cheaper options, more crappy, cheaper options. Spend less for a while. You're spending a certain amount for a while, but then once you get off of it, you may end up spending more than you previously were, just because now you gotta be more selective in what you're eating. But I guess that's the way it works. But at least you can kind of subsidize it a bit with all the savings you made during your fast. So, all right. Well, I think that's it for now, and on to day 7 tomorrow. So, all right. Take care.